The United States is still the world's leader in incarceration, with just under 2 million Americans and immigrants detained. We have more people per capita in cages than any other nation on the planet. The half of the 222% rise in state prison populations between 1980 and 2010 was due to an increase in the length of sentences. 67% of the people that our nation incarcerates are people of color. And for anyone born in 2001, 1 in 3 black males will spend time in jail or prison. 1 in 18 black women will spend time in jail or prison. 1 in 17 white women will spend time in jail and prison. 1 in 6 Latina men will spend time in jail and prison. 1 in 45 Latina women will spend time in jail or prison. I want to give you a forecast of where we're headed as a nation as it relates to prison and reentry. By some estimates, if the current rate of reform remains constant, it will take 80 years before we return to the outrageous numbers of the prison population in 1970, when prison reform advocates were crying out for transformation. So then, what are the solutions? And how do we respond to some of the claims made by our president tonight? That the rule of law is lacking, that our primary problem seems to be people. The implication that our primary problem is immigrants committing crime, and the implication that those of us who believe in radical transformation of the prison nation that we've become means that we also endorse laissez-faire attitudes toward people who come from other countries and commit crimes here. That is not the case for me. And when we are hospitable to others, it is reasonable to expect that people who come here not commit crimes. And it is reasonable to return them to their homeland. But that is not our primary problem here. We're going to have to think much bigger if we're going to solve this problem, because it's not local anymore. It's an international problem. The idea that we're housing, detaining immigrants, it's costing us, it's harming our health care for Americans. This is all valid. These are valid concerns and critiques of what's happening now. And we're going to have to solve these problems with an international coalition, relying on organizations like the International Monetary Fund to provide health coverage for immigrants who come to our country with few resources, or who fall upon hard times once they get here, even if they had a way to support themselves when they came. And so we're going to have to think of solutions that prevent the continuation of classist responses to immigration and racialized responses to immigration. And that is going to require international cooperation. With respect to reentry, we are not being as successful as we're capable of being as a nation. We are not properly funding the boots on the ground, the people who are in communities that they come from, creating change in their own communities. Those communities, from what I can assess in my travels around the nation and talking to other people who are doing this work across the country, the funding is not adequate. There's some shining examples of success, but we need success on a grand scale to put a dent in the harm that we've done over the past 40 years. I do not support releasing people who are a harm to themselves or other people. Our response, however, needs to provide a locked, humane solution, and a cage is not it. A mental health retreat center that is locked, that someone who is dangerous can stay in indefinitely, is a much better restorative practice. And that is it for this State of the Union in response to the President's remarks about criminal justice and the rule of law. Follow me on Madeline McClenney for the evolution of Mary Madeline, prison abolitionist.